There we go. The second episode that's actually been good this year. So last week we had Kablam, and Kablam was a really good episode. It was thoroughly enjoyable. And this week we've had an episode called The Witchfinders, and this is about witch trials and things like that, which have then sort of led on to bigger things. And I really like this format for this episode. Um, Normally I start videos by saying, hello guys, this is DSG, but today I didn't do that because I'm actually quite excited to talk about this episode. I just want to get straight into it, I suppose. Um, so, we'll talk first about James the First, I think. So, James the First is played by Alan Cummings, and I think he's a brilliant guy, and I think he plays it quite well. I feel like we knew a little bit too much, though, about him. I don't think the idea of him being gay needed to be there, because I don't know whether it was there to do some comic relief or whatever, but it just didn't need to be there. The episode would work the same without it. And you could say the same for Ryan's brooch thing that he had. I thought, oh, maybe he'll use it to reflect something and it'll freak him out later on in the episode. So like the light will reflect on a mirror and it will shine a light on the ground and they'll all freak out because they think it's like witchcraft. But that didn't go anywhere either. And I suppose that James the First is here for historical sort of building and a bit of entertainment, but I feel like maybe he didn't need to be there, but I am quite glad that he is because he does bring some brilliant moments to this episode. Obviously, the biggest thing, and probably the thing that has really got me into this episode, was the mud creatures, and oh my, I can't even think of what they're called. I'll remember later. But those mud creatures are pretty cool. To begin with, they look really scary. They look like zombies. That bit when she comes up at and she's resurrected, that is cool. That is good Doctor Who. That is good horror, I would suppose. You know, for a younger audience, anyway. And the bit when she's walking around with the axe as well is, I'll admit, is something. And at that point, I was going, yeah, I really don't want to be like sitting alone in the dark watching this episode. And that is a feeling I haven't had in a long time. I generally felt fairly scared by these things. I'm not saying that I'm so scared that I'm going to go hide behind the sofa because I'm a big boy now, but like when I was a kid, I probably would have. I did sort of like it when you see like the Queen, I suppose. The problem with the Queen is that the CGI is terrible. Why can't she just look like the others? Why does she have to have this weird thing moving on her forehead throughout the entire sequence that she's in? Why can't she just be like the others, look like the others, but then have more mud? And I think that's probably what they wanted, but then decided to throw a ton of CGI on it instead, which I think made it look pretty naff, if I'm honest. There was a couple of moments, I think, at the beginning that did have me worried, I'll admit. The bit at the beginning with the it's like the conveyor belt thing from last week again. When the Doctor jumps into the water, I'm sorry, but nobody was fooled by that. She, like the cut, I don't know if it was just me, maybe I looked away, but the cut seemed weird, it seemed off, and then when you get into the actual episode, it's fine. And there's no more instances of this. I suppose there was one, but there is no more instances of this, and I feel like maybe it would have been quite nice to actually see something like this actually happen, because it's, come on, how hard is it to jump into water? You know, she didn't have to swim, she could literally just jump in and then go to the stunt double doing the swimming, because that was clearly a stunt double. Yeah. Yeah, and I was also concerned with the amount of little comments that they were making to do with females making it difficult to live in this kind of climate and stuff like that. And I felt like, oh, they're layering it a bit thick this week, but that kind of stopped later on in the episode, which is good. I did enjoy this episode. I liked the bit with the tree, the the technical side, every detail, the look of it, everything that I like normally. I'm really quite happy with this episode. We've had 2 episodes that have both been quite good, and it does bring me quite a lot of hope. I don't know whether this excitement that I'm having right now is just because Doctor Who's just been on, or because I'm generally excited for next week. Next week seems weird, so I don't know whether it will actually be any good or not. And as it's in episode 9, it kind of has that disadvantage of you're 1 week before the finale, but you've kind of got this mid-episode that you've got to try and like fill the space of almost. But that is something that we're going to be covering this week, not now. Good episode overall, exciting, entertaining. I don't see really what's wrong with it, to be honest. I feel like there's a few moments that they, especially at the beginning, that could have been fixed, and I feel like maybe the Doctor should have made a bit of a bigger entrance, and just went all weird. Maybe she could have made a bit of a bigger entrance, would have been quite cool, and also making her um, actually doing some good continuity in your action scenes would be nice as well. But she could have, when she was in that water, she could have made this big sort of extravagant action as she got up. But I thought it was quite cool how the episode's called The Witchfinders, and it refers to the title of what they do in the end. Especially when she calls herself a witch. I was like, I see what you did there. It's not very clever, but yeah, I quite liked it. So, thank you guys for watching this video, DAG Studios. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like. More videos coming out this week to do with the next episode. I think it's called It Takes You Away or something. It seems pretty cool, and I shall be loading videos on that throughout the week. So thank you guys for watching. This has been DAG Studios. Goodbye.